So that's a lot of words. State the obvious. Yeah, I don't. Uh, what I figured out about that, what I already knew from the beginning, because I lived in Trinidad. I went to Trinidad. I got on a Greyhound and went to Trinidad, Colorado. That was the first city where it was recreationally legalized. Right. There's one grocery store in that town, right, and 20 marijuana dispensaries, right, and the dispensaries are selling commercial weed, right? And that's all you need to know, really, about that. That should just give you a hint, like right off the bat. It's commercial marijuana. It's commercially produced. Of course, it's connected to the military. It's commercial. That whole system is connected to everything within it, right? But at the same time, you had private growers in town. There was this one lady that I met that had a private grow, and I would go to her place and work for her. I would trim for her. I'd trim her plants and then cook dinner for her and stuff. And then she would hand me a mason jar full of marijuana every time I hung out with her for a couple hours, helping her trim and cooking for her while she was sitting there trimming, right? Because she was too lazy to cook for some reason. I guess from smoking all the weed. I don't know. But her shit was homegrown, right? She didn't use any pesticides or tricks or anything like that the dispensary growers were using, the commercial growers, and she was giving me some information about some of the stuff that they do that's shady. Um, there's a certain pesticide that um, gets on the weed. Um, there was a couple of the local commercial farms that were using it on the weed, and then they were sued. Um, and they stopped using it allegedly, right? But here's the thing: this particular pesticide is sprayed on crops, on food, on commercial vegetables and fruit, right? And then the stuff is just in the soil, it's in the air, it's everywhere because it's sprayed, so it's all over the place, right? So if there's any farms growing weed out there in in that area, that weed is gonna have that stuff on it, no matter what, even whether you sprayed it directly on it or not. I can't remember the name of the stuff, something like the word eagle with it was in it. She used the code eagle something, eagle 25, something like that was the name of this freaking pesticide that was being sprayed on the food, and it was getting in the commercial weed and stuff like that. And she explained to me what was wrong with it. She said it was when you burn it, it turns it into a carcinogen, a cancer-causing agent. So all of her weed was grown in her house or in her garden. In the city, there's like this code, this ordinance where you're not allowed to spray that stuff within a certain number of miles of the actual inner city. So she's growing her stuff in the city for that reason because it's free from any chance of that shit getting on her weed. So she's growing her plants in her basement. She's got some in her garden, and she's doing all the harvesting and stuff in her own house. And she had a lot of weed, man. I guess this particular person had an illegal grow, but she was following the rules. She knew what she was doing. She wasn't calling any negative attention to herself, and her stuff was really mellow, man. I smoked some of her stuff, and it was just really good stuff. It was real chill. It didn't give you like a ring, like that paranoid ring. Didn't give you none of that. Didn't give you any disorientation. Um, it was proper weed. It was proper ceremonial use marijuana. Not this commercial shit that people go and they buy it to use it recreationally so that they can get high and act fucking stupid and whatever the fuck happens as a result of using that weed on the street or in homes privately. I don't know. I mean, I've seen some of it. I went there for that reason. I wanted to observe the culture and how it was being affected by the legalization of the marijuana. And I saw good things and I saw bad things. You know, I got with a full perspective on that thing, on that issue. But yeah, I agree. The commercial marijuana shouldn't exist in the first place. So you're not supposed to commercialize a shamanic herb like that. It's just now that the peace pipe is just never supposed to be commercialized. Because then what happens to it? Becomes militarized. That's a no-brainer. I don't have to say 1,000 fucking words to make that point. But yeah, the commercial weed is definitely a gateway drug. It's a negative thing. It sends people into other areas of drug use that are bad. Like everyone on the street in that town that were the street people, the street kids, every last person that I knew on the street were on the fucking shard. That was the code name for it there, shard. It's crystal meth. And most of it's dirty. So you see people on this stuff and they don't have their fucking wits about them. And you can see it completely fucking up their life. And you're thinking to yourself, how, you know, is this, how long is this person going to be in this condition? You know, is it going to wear off when the fucking drug wears off, or are they fucking just like that now? You know, it kind of gives you the fucking creeps, you know, like what's going on here? What's in this stuff? You know, what are they doing to these people and why? You know, and the way the police were treating the local indigenous natives was something that kind of pissed me off too. I won't get into that at the moment because I'm white for some reason. Yeah. Sort of. I'm Portuguese, but anyway, don't smoke commercial marijuana. Don't support commercial marijuana. You kind of have to, though, because you kind of have to let the government do their thing. Because the thing is, if you tell the government that they can't freaking produce, you know, if you boycott, you know, their program, then they're just gonna freaking pull the, you know, the legality. You know, that's what we had to do to allow it to be legalized. You know, we're pushing towards federal legality, right? So of course the government's gonna control it, commercialize it, and make efforts to make it difficult for people to obtain organic, privately grown, non-commercial marijuana because they want to herd the ignorant masses into programs. They want people to do jobs for them, obviously. I mean, that's a no-brainer too. I mean, obviously we all know those things. So if you're smarter than that and you're elite, keep your fucking mouth shut. You know, don't make waves, don't threaten their programs, because they're going to come after you for doing that. Use your head, man.